I know this is such a weird time between Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays. I'll just let everyone kind of get settled. You can leave your cameras on or off, whatever you're most comfortable. I know for some of you, this is lunchtime and some people don't want to eat in front of a camera, so we understand. Welcome to our Montessori Town Hall. We host these every single Thursday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. on Zoom. They're always free to join, and they're just a space for Montessori leaders to come together to discuss different leadership topics as well as school marketing topics, because that's our area of expertise here at Nido Marketing. We like to change up the topics every week, and this week we're focusing on creating video content to market your Montessori school. We're going to be sharing some tips on how schools can create videos in an accessible way. We're also going to share our favorite tools for video editing and video creation and best practices for sharing videos across platforms. So hopefully you'll find this town hall helpful. This is very much an open space. So if you have any questions, comments, or ideas throughout the call, please utilize the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. We'll make sure that all questions are answered to the best of our abilities. And this is also just a space for you to connect with other school leaders, so you can very much ask things to other people on the call. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Here's just a little brief overview of what we're going to be covering. So we're going to talk about why video marketing is so important nowadays, because it really is becoming increasingly an important format for content marketing. We'll talk about how you can showcase your Montessori through video, creating quality content, some accessible tools that you can use. We know that in the Montessori space, we're not necessarily professional movie makers or videographers, but there are a lot of tools nowadays that anyone who can use a phone a little bit or a computer a little bit can quickly learn to use and access. Platforms to reach your audience, how you can implement video content in your marketing, and some best practices and takeaways and tips, as well as some resources. And hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A as well. All right, before we begin, we have an announcement, and I'll pass it over to our Executive Director, Camille.
Yeah, you can just go to the next slide.
Sure.
Yeah, so I just wanted to introduce our new executive director. Some of you may or may not know that I am retiring and leaving at the end of the year. So I'm really excited to introduce Elizabeth DeMoulin. She will be taking my place, and I've been working with her for the last month or so, and she's going to be taking the lead starting next week. So she comes to us from Oak Haven, Montessori. I just saw the chat there. Yes, it is being recorded right now. So, and there she was a member of the administrative team, and she had a lot of roles. And I think I will just let her introduce herself. But again, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody for these years that I've had here at Nido. It's been really a great experience, and I know you're in great hands with Elizabeth as she takes the reins and moves us and all of your schools forward. So, Elizabeth, do you have any? I'll let you introduce yourself. Yeah.
Hi there. Nice to virtually meet everyone. Really excited to be here. I just want to share a little bit more about, I am a newfound Montessorian. I'd say in the last 3 to 4 years. I came from public education, and I started working at Oak Haven Montessori School and fell in love with it. My husband and I, we have 2 young children, and we're going to be moving to Virginia in the new year. So we're excited to go back to the East Coast. And I'm really excited to get to know all of your schools and help you out with whatever you need. So yeah, thank you for having me, and very excited to begin this.
Awesome. All right, so we'll start today's town hall. So why video content? Well, video content has really become increasingly important in the digital age. Nowadays, it's probably the most popular form of content just shared across social platforms. There's more and more platforms that are specifically for video content, such as things like TikTok or even Instagram, which used to be a photography platform, is now very much shifting into video. So for Montessori schools, what video content does is it offers an opportunity to visually share stories and showcase Montessori principles and benefits. You can also use it across platforms, and it can be highly engaging to families. So videos really give you an opportunity to showcase Montessori. It's important because it's a little bit more of a dynamic way to storytell. It's important to have videos that have a strong visual appeal, that demonstrate Montessori principles, that feel authentic and transparent to your school. So it's also about finding your voice when you decide to create videos. And you can also share things like parent testimonials and educational content. Even having just one video on your website can really help strengthen your story and storytelling. So it's something to consider if you don't have any videos on your website or on your social platforms, because it can really give so much more insight to prospective parents and even current parents about what you're doing day to day, what your environments look like, and what value you offer to your students and families. So some ideas for showcasing your school through video content, things like showing your environments and materials, student and parent testimonials. I think these are very effective. We'll be showing some examples as well. Parent education videos. So if you have like parent webinars throughout the year, you can record those and that's video content, or you can shoot some short videos about parenting tips in the Montessori space, highlighting Montessori philosophy as well. Because when you create content like this, it helps establish your school as a thought leader. It helps build trust and credibility. So whenever you're able to highlight your approach to education, it's really helpful. And also just videos about what sets your school apart. If you have anything that's really unique about your school, such as perhaps a special language program, outdoor space. Maybe you have a beautiful outdoor space that you offer all sorts of outdoor activities or extracurriculars. All of this you can showcase through a video. And it's a lot more impactful sometimes than just having a section on your website with a picture and then a little brief description when you're showing, the children in this extracurricular, or you have a teacher that's talking about the philosophy and the environment that you offer at your school. It's a little bit more memorable than just having a picture and a description. So something to consider. I want to talk about creating quality content because I think this is the part that people get really intimidated by. Again, we're so busy as school administrators with all the hats that we wear and all of the jobs that we do in our schools that we often feel intimidated by the idea of creating videos. But nowadays, it's a lot easier than you think. You no longer necessarily need to be a professional videographer to shoot and edit videos, and there are lots of ways you can do it. So we're going to break down some ways that schools can realistically create quality content without spending thousands of dollars on professional equipment or things like that, because we know that's not necessarily accessible to everyone. So first things first about recording videos is you really have to understand your audience and what kind of content is going to resonate. If you want to create quality video content, I highly recommend just doing a little bit of research and seeing what already exists in the Montessori space. Go on YouTube and just look up Montessori schools, Montessori classrooms, and see what kind of content already exists. I spent some time doing that this week and just picking through some things that I thought were helpful. So we'll take a look at some of the examples I pulled. But I highly recommend doing a little bit of research. And then I think when you see what's out there, it gives you a little bit more of an idea of, oh, this is what we can create. And it's a lot more doable than you think. So definitely take the time to scroll through YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and look for videos under hashtags, #Montessori, #Montessori school, #Montessori education, etc. This is easy to do on things like Instagram. If you just search Montessori school and then you click hashtag, it'll come up with a bunch of different pictures and video posts that you can explore. And also just look through other Montessori school websites and see what kind of video content they include. Most schools might have things like a virtual tour on their school website, or just a small little clip of their program summaries and things like that, or just some pans of their environments. Also, things like testimonials are powerful. So I think here, this will take us to, I believe, let's see if it'll reload. what I did here was I looked up Montessori. And if you just do this on Instagram, this is how you can explore what's out there. It'll just bring you to a series of posts, and a lot of them that you'll find are going to be videos as pictures. So just by doing that simple search, you can really explore what kind of content is out there. And I'm pretty sure this was filmed on a phone. It's nothing high production, but this is going to get a lot more engagement than a picture. So even just taking a couple seconds to film something like this, and you can just take some time to go on Instagram and get some ideas, but I just wanted to show how easy it was to get some inspiration. There's so much content out there nowadays for Montessori. All right. So obviously in the creation process, you're going to have to sit down with yourself and brainstorm some video ideas. Of course, researching will help and seeing what's out there will help you. But for your website, a couple of ideas that I recommend considering, and you don't have to have all of these, maybe just one is enough. Things like a general promotion video, which is just kind of maybe a summary of what your school is about, what programs you include. You can overlay some music. Testimonial videos are really powerful and great to include on your website, because that's very much you sharing social proof and success stories, which you should have on your website anyways in the form of written reviews, but having a video testimonial can sometimes be a little bit more powerful. Things like environment and materials. Oftentimes our environments are so beautiful and special, and that can be something that a parent could say, wow, I'm really taken aback. This is so different than the daycare environments that we've toured, and the materials seem so much more purposeful. So you can include some videos on that. And virtual tours, of course, are also helpful to include on your school website if that's something that you'd like to put on there. When it comes to social media, this is where you can have a little bit more fun, and the videos don't have to be so formal. So on your website, you want to have more well-edited, formal videos. And then on your social media, you can have more organic and fun trend-based videos. So you can have fun videos about your school events. Parenting tip videos are fun to post on social media. Environment and material videos as well are always great, and you can have them shorter. Children at work, sometimes just something as simple as a child prepping food for the classroom or making snack, that can really be powerful in a social media setting. Classroom activities, so if you have any type of group time song, or you're maybe introducing a story, little short clips like this can be easy video content that you can produce for social media. And things like trendy videos, depending on what platform you're on. I'll show some examples of this as well. Some schools are doing this really well on social media. So again, I recommend you just see what's out there already and draw inspiration from there. So I just wanted to talk about virtual tours, because I think this is something that really started becoming even more popular from COVID, and some schools decided, we're going to keep our videos up because people are engaging with it. And oftentimes coming in for a physical school tour is a really big commitment for a parent who's just maybe starting their school search journey. So if you have a little bit of a short clip where you can give them more insight without them having to commit to a full-on tour, it can help ease them to that process a little bit more. So I just wanted to share some tips on, best practices for virtual tours. What really helps is to plan the tour from start to finish, include kind of a little bit of a script of what you want to cover on your virtual tour videos. And some of them are going to be really short and some of them are long. I've seen virtual tour videos that are 30 minutes long and they're really in depth. And I've seen some that are a really brief overview, like this example I'm going to show in a couple moments. Really, what you want to do in a virtual tour is capture the environment and authentic Montessori moments. So film the children working and the guides there with the students, show what the classroom is like. What does it feel like to stand in your classroom while, classes are in session? Practice smooth transitions, and maybe this is where you get help from your more tech-savvy friends or people who have editing experience, maybe even see if your parent community can help. I'm sure nowadays everyone is a little bit more tech-savvy than they were a couple generations ago, so I feel like everyone is a little bit more used to using their phones for editing. Provide context and narration as well, because parents need, of course, a little bit of a walkthrough of what they're looking at. They may not be familiar with the Montessori environment yet. Include interviews and testimonials if you can on a virtual tour. I think this adds a little bit more depth to the storytelling element of a video. Also, you want to make sure you have optimal lighting and just high quality video, high resolution, because the last thing you want is a blurry video or something that looks a little bit scrappy when you're introducing parents to your environment. Again, nowadays you don't need to have necessarily a professional camera to do this. If you do, or if you have a parent in your school that's a photographer who is willing to, come in, or maybe you want to hire someone professional, great. But if not, you can use a good, smartphone camera. Just make sure that the lighting is good and things are coming out sharp and not blurry. Of course, you want to ensure good audio quality. You want to maintain consistent branding. So if you're going to do some type of watermark or something like that, it just helps, the parent remember this is for the school. You can include a little bit of information about how parents are going to enroll. What's your admissions process like? Highlight the benefits of your programs. Again, be transparent and update this virtual tour as needed. So if you add a new program to your school, or if you just feel that it needs a little refresher, that's great. This is a great one from Arbor Montessori School. It's on YouTube. And this is a really short, kind of a virtual tour, kind of a school promotion video. And this is just I want to say it's 4 minutes long. Yeah.
For over 50
Can you
years,
hear this?
Arbor has been a national leader in Montessori education. As one of the largest Montessori schools
But they
in the
have the school
Southeast, we
branding,
prepare children to go here, then go anywhere.
smooth
Arbor serves students
shooting.
aged 18 months to 14 years old at our 2 Decatur campuses. Available at both campuses, our bright and sunny toddler classrooms are designed just for them. Children ages 18 to 36 months grow together in a close-knit community, learning, cooking, singing songs with friends, and developing their natural curiosity, confidence, and independence. A big piece of the work in this class is toilet independence. Don't worry, we will help get them potty trained.
So I didn't want to play the whole video, but just a little brief introduction so you could get a feel and you could tell, they have music on in the background, they have their school branding at the beginning. All of the video content is very clear, the transitions are smooth, and there's a voiceover, so the parent is listening and learning about the programs and the approach to education that the school has. So if you want to watch the full video, I highly recommend it. This is a great example of just a short virtual tour. And this one's a much more impromptu. I think this one is still really effective. And this one's quite literally a walkthrough of the classroom, which is another format that we would see for a virtual tour. And I'll click play and I'll play through a little bit of it. I do wish this one had a little bit more school branding, but I think otherwise it's really effective in showing the parent what it would be like to walk through the classroom.
Welcome to Toddler 1. Here you will find children aged 12 months and older. The children in this classroom begin to learn care of themselves and the care of their environment. Environment is welcoming, inviting, clean, and the materials here foster a child's love of learning and curiosity, supported by nurturing teachers.
So this one I think was quite literally filmed on a smartphone. It's still pretty high quality, and I think the person is very much narrating as they would maybe introduce the classroom as a parent, if a parent were to come in person for a tour. And it's almost scripted. They're covering all their points. You can tell that they walked through what they wanted to cover in the tour from start to finish. So this is still effective, and this can be done using, accessible tools. And yeah, a 10-minute video can still be effective. So there are several ways that you can create good virtual tours. Obviously, one that we saw is a little bit more professionally made. It's edited. And then the other one is a little bit more simple, but both are effective. Another form of content that really works is parent education videos. And this is something that we do a lot in Montessori. We're always investing a lot of time in creating parenting classes or offering resources and tools for parents. So here are just some, best practices when it comes to creating parent education videos. You really want to think about creating parent-centric content. So what is going to actually offer value to the parents? What's going to fix problems at home? What's going to make them see and understand firsthand the benefits of Montessori for themselves? What can they implement? An easy way to do this is just simply to offer webinars that you can record. We're literally doing that with our town hall. It doesn't have to be high tech. You can record a Zoom meeting. You can use tools to screen record a presentation. We'll share a little bit more on that later. And that can be video content that you can share on your channel. You can share to parents easily. Create slides or offer visual aids. I'll show a little example here in one of our clips here. It's a great opportunity for you to really highlight the benefits of Montessori, both in the classroom and at home. And also, again, back to that parent-centered content, you want to offer information on what will actually help parents at home. Offer resources and ensure accessibility. So these videos should be easy to access. Usually we recommend just posting them on YouTube. You can post them as unlisted if the parents on the webinar don't want to be posted publicly, and you can just share the link via email to your families. And of course, always with all of your parent webinars or your parent content, seek feedback and adapt. Say, what kind of videos would you like to see? What kind of topics would be helpful for us to create videos on in the future? This, I'm pretty sure, is just a Zoom call that
the
was
first
recorded.
thing that I want you to know is that you're in the exact right place.
I just wanted to include that in the presentation in case anyone needed a sample, but all they did was they put together a really well put together webinar presentation and recorded themselves giving it. And that is a resource that they can use year upon year upon year. So it's just helpful. You don't have to necessarily have a whole production team. It can just be as easy as creating a presentation slide and hosting an online webinar and recording it.
And the first thing that I want you to
planning your shoot. So now let's move a little bit more onto the actual filming of videos. And this is, I think, where people get a little bit intimidated. We're not videographers usually. Different videos are going to require different levels of production. You really want to think about how you're going to format your videos, how they will be shot, how they're going to be distributed. So are you going to hire a professional? If you're doing one promotional post, or you want to do a really well put together virtual tour or testimonial shoot, you maybe want to hire a videographer for one day to come and film. It might be worth it. And that's an investment that you can make in order to post a video on your website and have that be, your main promo video. You also want to think about how many takes or clips you're going to use. Sometimes it's easier to just film things in clips because you don't have to memorize the script or anything. You can just say, oh, talk about this material for 5 minutes, and it can be freely talking. But these are things to consider when it comes to work planning and organizing. How are you going to be editing? Are you going to be using software? Are you going to be outsourcing your editing, like hiring a graphic designer? What tools are you going to be using? Just your iPhone camera sometimes is enough. How long is the video going to be? And how are you going to distribute it? Are you going to post it on YouTube? Are you going to use platforms like Vimeo or I think I'm saying that right, Vimeo, or just posting on social media? So these are all things to consider when it comes to planning your shoot. I just want to cover over some tools because I think there's a lot of tools that are accessible and affordable nowadays, whereas they weren't a couple years ago. Now everyone is creating video content. So these tools are, I think, there's affordable versions of everything. Things like a tripod down here, just something that you can stand up a phone or camera to record. Maybe you put it in the corner of your classroom and just film the classroom for 5 minutes, and that's a video or a clip that you can use for later. An iPhone, an Android, something with a good camera. Someone at your school will have access to this, and it can really help record high quality content. You'd be surprised how well some of these cameras actually record videos. You don't need, a $3,000 camera necessarily. Things like laptops, if you're using your computer and it has a camera, also you can get an attachable camera for your laptop. These are great for filming webinars, like how I am right now. I'm just using my laptop camera. Also, a mic can be great. There are mics on Amazon nowadays that you can get for $20 or less that are really good, and they can just improve the sound quality. So maybe if you're doing a voiceover on a couple of clips, you can use a mic and it will sound a little bit more professional. You can also always use just your iPhone mic or your smartphone mic when you're recording. Also, things like a ring light can help make your videos a little bit more professional feeling. Again, there are some available for $20 or less online. So this is a very accessible tool. You just plug it in. And this is great for maybe if you want to have a nice backdrop of your environment and you can talk for a minute about a certain material, and that's content for your social media. So these are just some tools that you can use that are accessible. You can decide which ones you want to use. So now the actual shooting of the videos, it doesn't have to be a production necessarily. Of course, if you hire someone, great, you don't have to worry about it so much. If not, I definitely recommend getting your classroom assistants or teachers involved. Nowadays, most people have smartphones. So, throughout the day, ask them to, record little clips here and there. I think children as well are used to seeing phones in their environment. Their parents are probably on their phone, so it won't necessarily draw a lot of attention if you don't bring a lot of attention to it. I know we used to record videos in our school here and there, and usually it would be just very organic, one of the assistants standing and just hitting record for a couple seconds. Smartphones are also great. I recommend considering, again, how you're going to distribute the video, landscape and portrait. Of course, landscape, you're going to record like this. You're going to hold your phone sideways. Portrait like this. If you're posting on social media, you always want to use portrait. You always want to record like this. If you're thinking of using it for YouTube or distributing it on your website, you want to shoot landscape. So just something to think about. Other videos can also be filmed from a desk or backdrop. You can use a computer camera for this, whether you have one on your laptop or desktop. And again, some videos are going to be scripted and others can be organic. Sometimes just filming a kid sweeping the floors makes good content. You can post that on your YouTube. You can be like, look at this 2-year-old taking pride in his work and making the environment beautiful. This is what, is so important to Montessori. And you can create a cute little post out of that. And that's enough. It takes a couple seconds, filmed on a phone, nothing hard. But obviously for more intense video shoots like a virtual tour or maybe a testimonial video, you might want to sit down and prepare a little bit of a script or read something. So just make sure you're that level of prepared for whenever you're shooting. And it helps to have tools nearby so you can record as needed. So whether you have a ring light in your office or you have your teachers carry around a smartphone in case they want to record something throughout the day, that helps. Any questions so far? I know this is a lot. And you can get a lot of video content in one day, so you don't have to always have someone in your school filming all the time, because that can be distracting and that's not realistic either. We don't necessarily want to have a phone out all the time in the classroom, but I think if we spread things out a little bit and are strategic, I know in our school we had multiple classrooms and one teacher would just maybe record one day, and you can get several clips for several different videos from just one day of having an iPhone out, filming children at work. All right, let's look at some examples of video content that schools can produce across platforms. And I hope this is helpful because there's a lot of great video content out there. So first I want to talk about Instagram, because Instagram is becoming probably the most important platform when it comes to social media and reaching prospective parents. Hold on, I see a question here. Vicky. Oh, thanks, Vicky. Again, if you want to catch the recording later, I hope that helps. Thanks for joining us. All right. So when it comes to Instagram, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's best to use portrait mode. This is because this is a mobile app, so it's going to be accessed on a smartphone, and all videos are going to be ideally viewed vertically. Use music or a voiceover. Luckily, Instagram makes it really easy to add music to your videos. It's as easy as clicking a little button on the upper right-hand corner. If you need guidance on how to, put music or things like that on an Instagram post, check out, I think we have a YouTube video on it, and we also have it on our Instagram course. Videos should be short, dynamic, and fun on Instagram. This is not necessarily a place for you to post an hour-long webinar. That's maybe for your website or YouTube channel or Facebook. But Instagram, just a 1-minute video can be great, and it can get a lot of engagement and a lot more visibility. You can create a photo compilation video. You don't necessarily have to be out there filming content, just collecting a couple of images, and I'll show you how you can edit that together in one of the later slides. Showcasing what your school is about and its benefits is really great on Instagram. Content should really share your story and give parents an insight as to your community, your day-to-day life, your mission. Use hashtags when sharing your video content. We've talked about hashtags before. If you have any questions on hashtags, let me know. They're just a way for your content to be seen by the right audience. Always repost any Instagram post on your story. This is how you're going to get more engagement. And videos can be highly edited or completely organic or informal on Instagram. There's no, in between, as long as there's, good image quality and good sound quality. That's probably the most important thing. So I'm going to show a couple of examples of Instagram posts, and these are all taken from a school called the Clover School. They have a really good social media presence. They have a great Instagram. I'm not sure who's in charge. They have a good social media person, but they have some great posts. I just wanted to show some examples. Here's a reel on a school event, and they put some trendy music on it. And there's no talking, it's just music and showing an event. But I feel this is effective because it shows, a special event that they offer. The kids look happy, the community is involved, they're showing what it's like to go there. And this was all probably filmed on an iPhone, and they just use a simple editing app to, kind of stick all the video clips together. And then they just overlaid some music. So this is a great example of an event clip. Another one is a repurposing of a video. So for instance, this is again on the Clover Schools page, but this is from a podcast, someone talking about the benefits
I could say 2 words.
of
Thank
Montessori.
you to my mom and dad who enrolled me in a Montessori preschool where I grew up. They had a Montessori school not too far away, and I went to it. And I used to skip into school every day as a little kid because the rooms were these labs full of cool.
So again, they didn't create this video themselves, but they found a video online of someone talking about the lifelong benefits of Montessori. This is obviously a successful scientist and researcher at MIT who was a Montessori kid and talking about how he remembers that sparked his love of education. So they just reposted this on their page, and that's not something they even had to create. They just had to download the video and repost it. So you can always repurpose content that already exists. And this is also from the Clover School, just a quick environment tour. This is a little bit more edited. Again, this was probably all filmed on an iPhone, just someone walking through the school. And the editing could have been done on an app. There's a lot of apps nowadays where you can do these transitions. You can use iMovie. I'm going to talk about one called Splice, which is free. And again, this is dynamic content. They're using great hashtags here. They have a nice description, and they're getting engagement on their page. So there are lots of different ways that you can record content. It doesn't necessarily have to be professionally done. I just wanted to show those examples. I highly recommend looking at they're very, they have a great social presence. I always like to give them a shout out whenever I talk about social media because I follow a lot of different accounts, and they really have a lot of standout content. All right, next is any questions on Instagram before I move on? Instagram is great for informal content like that. You can just film things on your phone and have fun with it. Your school website and YouTube maybe is a space for slightly more formal content. So here are my tips for creating, videos that are appropriate for your school website and YouTube. This is where you're going to use landscape mode. You're going to, film sideways on your phone or on your camera. These videos should be a little bit more highly edited, maybe not so much the ones that are just going to go on your YouTube, but definitely the ones that are going on your website should be a little bit more professional looking. So, you know, these should be more highly edited. Use school branding if possible, using things like watermarks or a little intro with your brand and school colors is great. You can also use photos to create a great video. I'll show an example of one that we created for one of our clients. Use music or voiceovers. Sometimes this is easier to do because it ensures a higher sound quality. If you just go in your classroom and film clips of children working and stuff, and then you pick which clips you want and just get a microphone and talk through what you want from a script, it can come out a little bit better for a promotional video. Videos can be a little bit longer than maybe they would be on Instagram. On Instagram, I wouldn't recommend doing videos that are super, super long, but maybe you can have a 5 or 10-minute long video on your school website. Again, these are more formal than the ones you're sharing on social media. And this is a great space for you to just share the benefits of Montessori, what your mission is, your programs and testimonials, and focus more about what your unique value and selling point as a school is. Parenting videos are also great to share. This is just a snippet from our nidosite.com, which is our sample school site, where we have a Montessori video FAQ. And that's just a way that parents can learn about Montessori, frequently asked questions in a more dynamic setting. They're going to spend more time on our website because they're looking through videos and it's like, wow, they have a lot of resources to offer. So that's just an example of how you can deliver good video content on your website. So yeah, I'll show an example of that. This is our Nido site here. So we have a section for a Montessori video FAQ. Donna's videos are great. And here you can learn a lot about Montessori. You can see she has a gorgeous backdrop. I believe our clients will have access to this, but this is just an example of video content you can offer on your website. And it's great to offer these things because the longer that parents spend on your website learning about Montessori, the stronger the impression that your school leaves. It's just one of our pop-up quizzes. But just an example of the type of video content you can offer on your school website. I forget there's ads on.
How to get the most of Grammarly free. It's Kayla on behalf of Grammarly to tell you all about.
This is another example of a good video that you can include on your school website, something like this. And that's just a really informal video someone recorded on their phone. They probably just went around the classroom holding it landscape like this. And it really gives you a feel of, oh, this is what it looks like in motion. And it does look different than a daycare, and it does look different than a different type of schooling method. So just a peek into our Montessori classroom video. A general overview and promo video is also great. This is one that we created at Nido Marketing for one of our clients. And we did this completely using pictures. So it just goes to show you don't necessarily need to have someone filming. You can just do it with pictures. So that's an example of just a pretty simple promo video. So it doesn't have to be necessarily, again, something that you go and record so much content for in person throughout the classroom period. Also, a testimonial video is really great. This is just an example from North Shore Montessori School, and they did a great testimonial video.
From the moment that we walked in, we were really impressed by how quiet and peaceful the school is. There are no screens anywhere. It's not loud and distracting. For my oldest daughter, that was.
So this is obviously using a little bit more of a professional camera. They edited the video so that there's music in the background. It's just a parent sharing their experience with the school. So these are all types of videos that you can include on your school website that are really powerful and effective. So before we move on, I hope that gives you some ideas of different types of videos you can include on your school website. And usually, if you invest in a good video, you can use that over and over again. You can keep that on your school website for years to come, even testimonial videos. So they're worth the investment, really. I wanted to briefly talk about TikTok because I didn't want to leave that out. I know a lot of schools aren't focusing on it, and I think it's more maybe a Gen Z, Gen Alpha thing. So maybe when parents, more Gen Z and Gen Alpha parents start coming into the Montessori space, maybe we can worry a little bit more about TikTok. I think for now, it's more of a weird, fun space, but there's a lot of Montessori content on TikTok. So here are just some tips if you do decide to create videos for TikTok. It's highly a trend-driven space. So if you want to have any sort of engagement on TikTok, it's all about following trends. It's not like Instagram where you can kind of just share what you're about. It's kind of, you have to find a balance between trends and sharing what you're about. You can use trending sounds. Again, I recommend if you decide to post on TikTok, either spend some time on the app first or reach out to your staff members who do spend time on TikTok. While Montessori videos are already popular, I just recommend you going on TikTok and searching Montessori. There are loads of videos. Usually they're more about Montessori parenting and Montessori tips. Again, for this, you want to use portrait mode, so you want to shoot vertically. Minimal editing is better. Organic content rules this platform. This is not a place for, we just showed a highly edited video that, was more professional looking. That would not work on TikTok. It's very much just someone talking in front of a camera or showing the environment would probably work, and that's it. Short videos perform better, so try to keep it a minute or less. A great place to source content for repurposing. So just as I showed earlier, how the Clover School shared that interview with an MIT researcher, you can go and find great video content that relates to Montessori and reshare it from TikTok. So maybe you can post Montessori related TikTok videos on your Instagram or share them on Facebook rather than create your own videos. And again, it's very similar to Instagram Reels. Actually, Instagram Reels very much copied TikTok when they started doing that and wanted to veer more towards that type of content. So it works almost identical. Any questions? I know we're not necessarily all going to jump in on TikTok quite yet. I would say if you have time for one platform, focus on Instagram first. All right, editing and sharing video content. This is also the part that can be a little bit time consuming, but there's a lot of tools out there nowadays that can be helpful. Editing your video can be really important because that's what makes them more seamless and professional. Again, you can always go in and just film a walkthrough of your classroom. That's fine. I'm not saying that's a negative thing, but if you really want something clean and polished looking, then editing is going to help you with that. And there's lots of tools out there that are free and accessible. So let's talk about them. Number one is Splice. I linked here a full YouTube video on how it works. If you go on YouTube and you put Splice walkthrough, it's a 3-minute long video. I recommend you look at that. But really the best way to learn is just to download the app and use it. It's a free video editing app and it's easy to use, and you can create those vertical videos and also landscape videos directly on a smartphone, and it's free. I'll show you in the next slide. I think I have a little bit of a mini tutorial. It's like 2 minutes long.
Which is pretty much the easiest free photo and video editing app that I have been able to find. And it's great for editing videos for TikTok or Instagram Reels. It's very easy to edit these portrait style videos. You can also always edit landscape style videos, but I'm just going to show an example here. So I've pulled up a Montessori photo folder, and it's great because if you just want to be able to take pictures and create videos out of that, this will be a great app. I'm just going to select the pictures I want in the video. Once I'm happy with the ones I've selected, I'll click next. I'll select my aspect ratio, which I'm gonna go ahead and make this an Instagram reel. You can see here it has an option. You can put Instagram reel, and that will fit the video to fit perfectly within an Instagram reel format. So it's very easy to do. And I can title the project here. And I'll click create. Now it's gonna pop up with trying to upgrade you to premium. You can just click the X. No, thank you. I'm just gonna use the free version. And here is going to be the video with all the pictures you selected. So if I click play, it's going to show me here how it's going to play out the video. Now, let's say I want each clip to be a little bit shorter. It's very easy to do. You just click on that clip and you drag with your finger how long you want it to be. So let's say I want it to be a lot shorter. I don't want anything super long, and you can make some clips longer than others. You can also include video clips and photos at the same time. And here I have the option to mute my clips. So maybe I didn't talk, or I don't want any sound, or I want to overlay a sound. I can easily just click mute, or I can unmute if I did say something that I want to be heard in the video. When I'm happy with the length of the video overall, let's say this is great, I'll go ahead and click export. When I click export, it will again try to promote me to do the Ultra 4K, which is the Pro. I just click down and put HD. I just want it in HD, and this is on the free version. So I'll export the video and it will save it to my photo library. Here I can go ahead and post it directly on my Instagram. I can post it onto TikTok or other social platforms, but the video is edited. So it's very quick and easy.
I would guess this is probably similar to the video editing tools that schools like Clover are using. But again, if you just download things in HD rather than 4K, which is still very high quality, it's free. So that I edited for fully free. So if you're looking for a free app, Splice is great, and it's available on iPhone and Android, I believe. Another option is Loom. This is more for screen sharing, or if you want to just film yourself on a laptop. You can also use things like iMovie. They have a free version where you can record videos for 5 minutes or less. And this is great because you can always film things in clips. But this is great if you want to just shoot a short format video on your computer. We use this a lot at Nido Marketing just to help explain things. But it's helpful for schools because, for instance, let's say you put together a presentation slide and you want to record your screen. You can do this using Loom. You can also use various screen recording apps, but this is just one that has worked very well for us. Vimeo, this is more of a distributing app. So obviously videos are large files and you want to be able to distribute them. So Vimeo is an option for that. Also, YouTube is an option for that. So if you're looking for tools to share videos with your parent community, this is an option. It's not free. This one, I believe you have to pay. I think you have a limit with how much you can share. Then once you hit that limit, you have to pay. So that's just something to be aware of as well. Photoshop is probably the most obvious one, and this is the one that a graphic designer would use, a professional would use. It's not free. They do have free versions nowadays of lesser Photoshop applications. And it's also a little bit more complex to use. It's not as user-friendly as an app like Splice is, which is very, very easy and minimal. You have a lot more capabilities on Photoshop, but it's a lot more challenging to use if you don't have experience using it. But if you do work with a graphic designer, they will most likely be using Photoshop. Just some other free apps if you're looking for some resources out there, things like Snapseed. They offer a wide range of editing tools and filters, great for editing social media videos as well. Adobe Photoshop Express, I believe, is kind of like the free version of Photoshop, where it has a couple of editing features and filters. Again, it's limited. It's not going to be as it doesn't have as many tools as actual Photoshop, which will cost money. Lightroom Mobile is another one that you can download on your phone, and it's by Adobe, so the same creators of Photoshop. Pixlr, it's another one. Visco, which is great for photos and videos, is also free. I think to a certain extent, you have to pay for like the full version, but it'll have a free version. Prisma, Canva, there's a lot of different apps out there for editing and doing fun things with your videos. Canva is a great one. I know a lot of schools are familiar with using Canva, and they do have video editing apps, and you can format your videos for Reels. You can do landscape. You can edit for YouTube as well. You can create thumbnails for YouTube. So things like that you can do on Canva. Any questions for editing? I know that's usually the part that takes a lot of time and can be frustrating. We don't want to spend time behind a screen. We'd rather be out there with our students or our families in our community. All right, platforms, reaching families on the right platforms, because obviously you're putting time and effort into making this video content. You want to be able to share it. What platforms are worth it? Absolutely your school website. I highly recommend, finding a space on your website to post at least 1, 2, or just a handful of videos. Instagram, I think, would be the second most important space, just because that's where parents are. YouTube is another one. It's great to share longer videos. Also, once a video is uploaded on your YouTube channel, all you need to do to share it is share a link. So you can share that in your newsletter. You can, post that on Facebook, and it will direct people to watch the video. So you don't have to worry about big files. Facebook is another place to reshare videos that you've shared perhaps on Instagram or YouTube. And TikTok, if you're looking to have fun, I would say is probably right now out of these the least important, but it's a fun place to start exploring. It might shift into a more important space in the future. Why does video content work across these platforms? The reality is video content is becoming more important because it has higher engagement rates. Apps like Instagram are pushing video content more, so this leads to higher visibility. Content consumption patterns. Usually people will stay on a post that's a video a lot longer, and they'll scroll, or they just want more dynamic content nowadays. They're used to seeing that. So it's just a more popular way to consume content. With a mobile-friendly experience, people are just used to watching videos and scrolling, whether it's Facebook now or TikTok or Instagram. We're used to seeing so much video content. It's become so much more accessible and user-friendly. Also, algorithm preferences. This also goes for SEO. It helps your SEO if you have video content on your website, but on social platforms, again, they're more likely to push forward a video than they are a post. So just something to consider. It tends to perform better. Implementing video content in your marketing strategy. So again, we talk a lot about content marketing in these town halls that are focused on marketing because it's perfect for Montessori schools. We don't have the same luxury of traditional forms of education where, they know exactly what they're getting. Oh, it's going to be sitting at a desk and getting assignments and taking exams. In Montessori, we have to break down, this is what we're actually about. Oftentimes we have to lead parents to unlearn what they think Montessori is. So content is important, and video content gives us opportunity to do this. So ultimately, video marketing is just content marketing. So it's easy to implement into your marketing strategy because you can include it in your blogs, you can put it on your website, and you can share it on social media, and that is marketing in itself. So creating and sharing content is marketing your school. So again, to implement that into your marketing strategy, all you have to do is post videos on your website, post regularly on social media if you can, share videos on newsletters. You can also use QR codes. I recommend if you have a really good promo or testimonial video, put a QR code on your brochure that parents can scan and watch that video. I think that's a fun way to include that content. But it really comes down to planning, creating, and sharing your content. Before we finish up, I'm just gonna summarize some best practices and tips for video production. So best practices for video creation is to be authentic, focus on high quality resolution and sound. This is really probably the most important. You don't want to have blurry or bad quality videos that look like they were filmed 10 years ago. You want to have things that look modern, clean, and they have good quality. Understand your audience. Understand your video format and how it aligns with the sharing platform. So share, portrait videos on social media, landscape videos on YouTube. How is that going to tie in? Again, Instagram needs to have more fun, dynamic, shorter content. Maybe on your website, you have more polished content. Optimize for mobile viewing. Again, a lot of people are accessing content on their phone over computers nowadays, so it should be easy to view on either device. Utilize engaging thumbnails and titles if you can. This maybe is not so relevant in social media, but if you're posting on YouTube. Include a clear CTA. This isn't necessarily a thing in social media because videos will usually start playing automatically when someone is scrolling. But again, if you're posting on your website or on YouTube. Diversify content types. So have a couple of fun videos, have some testimonials, be creative with the type of content you're producing. Use captivating music thoughtfully. It's nice to have a little bit of a background sound. It makes videos feel a little bit more complete and polished. We've heard that in some of the videos I've shown in the examples. Promote cross-platform sharing. So if you share a video on YouTube, you could share that on your website as well and on Facebook. So definitely share across platforms. Collaborate with parents and alumni. You don't have to do this by yourself. If you have, adolescents, they can help you film and produce videos for your school. If you have parents, they can also help, and so can staff. Stay consistent with your branding and spend some time online and across platforms to understand what type of content works on each platform. Tips for video creation. Spend some time using easy and free editing apps. Once you spend 5 minutes on something like Splice, you'll understand how it works. It has some very basic features, but you can create fun videos. Keep your smartphone on you for photo and video opportunities throughout the day. Same goes for your staff. Ask your staff to record videos and have video and photo release form ready as well. It helps to have a list of all of the students that have basically been approved to be in pictures and videos for your school and hung up in the classroom, just so the teachers know, oh, this is a really cute moment that the student is having. I'm just going to take a picture for our a future video or our Instagram. Recycle content. You don't always need to be creating new content. You can always, use a picture from 5 years ago if it will work in a video. Create short and quick content that is simpler and feels more authentic. Not everything has to be a big production. Nowadays, organic content can be just as effective. And I recommend, if you can, invest in 1 or 2 good videos to promote your school, because it's worth it and it leaves a lasting impression. Do you have any questions? Do you need help when it comes to creating video content for your Montessori school, or what has and hasn't worked for your school? I know this was a lot. Before we wrap up for any final Q&A, I just wanted to say we do have resources to help. I see here in the chat question here, Doris. Thank you. Thank you, Doris. Again, if you need resources, we have things that can help. If you're a Nido Marketing graphic design subscriber, part of your unlimited graphic design is video editing. So if you need video editing for Instagram videos or a promotional video, or you have some pictures that you want to create a video from, you can have our graphic designer do that for you. Also, if you're a Montessori Thrive member, we have a photo release form. We have presentation slides for parenting classes. We have our Instagram course that kind of helps outline how to use Reels and utilize that. So if you need some resources on that, they're available, and you can always request a resource. I'll stop sharing and see if there are any questions. Again, I know that was a lot. Does anyone feel a little bit more inspired to go and make videos for Instagram after this? Thank you, Katie. And again, this will be on our YouTube channel. I'll post it later today. So if you want to reference any of this content, it'll be up on our YouTube channel. But yes, I highly recommend everyone to at least get out there and try and see it. Post 1 video on your YouTube and on your Instagram, and see how it does, and just see what's out there, because so many schools are doing this now. And I've seen probably in the last year, a lot more schools posting Reels and video content on their Instagram. And it's really, we're lucky we get to work in beautiful environments, and there's a lot to capture. Laura here. Thank you. There's a great amount of inspiration. Thank you for showing us the app too. Yes, I highly recommend using Splice if you have a smartphone. That's probably, and I've experimented with many different editing apps, and that one has been the best. Just the warning about they will try to upsell you, just click X. And I've recorded probably or edited probably 50 videos for free without having to upgrade. So I recommend it.
No, I don't think you touched upon it, but there are places you can get royalty-free music too, just if you want some quick background music, so you don't even have to worry about doing audio for a lot, especially the ones that are in the classroom, you know, just kind of filming the children and then just putting some music to it. I think it's like you say, this was great because it's very accessible. Almost everybody has a phone capable of doing this now, and so I think it seems a little overwhelming, but just kind of jumping in and doing it, you can realize it's not really all that hard to do.
Definitely. Yeah, get your staff involved in making these videos, because surely some people are more tech savvy than others, and you have a team at your disposal. So yeah, hopefully someone on your team is willing to help. I'm also going to drop my email here. If anyone has any follow-up questions that they think of after the call today, feel free to reach out to me. Next week, we're going to talk about nurturing, how you can really nurture a lead that comes in through your website or any type of marketing that you do into an enrollment. The process of, nurturing your wait list and making conversions, because ultimately we're doing all this work in marketing so that we can grow our enrollment and get people to sign up for a program. So we'll be talking about that next week. So if you're interested in that, we look forward to seeing you there. And then I think we have 2 more town halls before we go off for winter break. So, and then we'll be back in 2024. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.